You're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. You have no idea how many people actually requested that song after I played it last week. So good, though, isn't it? I had a bad time with Sonata Arctica when they released Unia by the fact that there's only one good track on that entire album, and that's Caleb, I might add. Oh, God, it was bad times. It was a dark time. Ugh. Thankfully, they've redeemed themselves very much so with that album. It's so very good. I'd highly recommend that you all go and pick it up. Go listen to it on Spotify. Go and download it from Amazon or iTunes, whatever you like to use. It's called The Days of Grays. Or The Day of Grays, whatever you prefer. Okay. Shall we get on with it? I've been told there are topics to be discussed. Whole lot of fun and prizes to be won. Funhouse. Did anyone else find Funhouse a little bit creepy? I found Funhouse a bit creepy. Really. It was a kids' show, and they paraded these two, I would say, we'll go with young women around as sort of like cheerleaders and stuff like that. And the funny thing was that later on in life, they actually did a semi-strip show for university parties. I'm not kidding. It's so terrible. Oh, man. How the mighty have fallen in that regard. Yeah. Most of you who aren't British probably have no idea what Funhouse actually is. If you're not British, that was just... Pat Sharp was weird. Anyway, let's talk about Guild, shall we, as opposed to Funhouse, of all things. Right, okay, so let's do it. What are we talking about? Well, specifically, we're talking about the new Guild reward system that just came in. I'll give you a brief overview of it if you haven't seen my video. So, this is how it works. You've got a set of Guild rewards that are available to anyone that's in a Guild, and they are bound to several factors. Now, one of these factors is, of course, cold, hard cash. Some people made the comment when I said that most likely one of the big sinks for... Actually, this might have been on Reddit, come to think of it. I did a Reddit Q&A, and big shout out to anyone that is a Redditor here. They've actually been really supportive of my videos in general, so definitely appreciate that, and certainly the place to be now that Dig has gone to hell in a handbasket. So a big shout out to the WoW guys over there. And one of them said, in response to a remark that I made about gold sinks in Cataclysm, I said that Guild rewards are probably going to be the gold sinks of Cataclysm, and someone turned around and said, well, no, Blizzard said that they wouldn't cost gold or whatever. That's not true, actually. They didn't say that, and I'm fairly sure they said quite the opposite, in fact. And in the beta right now, yes, most Guild rewards cost money. In fact, I think all of them do, give or take. So, in the case of a lot of the heirlooms, they are really pricey. I mean, I'm talking right now. Bear in mind, all of this is always subject to change, and thankfully, as retarded as some people will be on YouTube, I like to think that my listener base is a little smarter after listening to me for a few years. I certainly hope so. Or at least way more jaded, cynical, and sarcastic. I'm cool with that as well. Everything is subject to change. But right now, those heirlooms cost 20,000 gold each. Now, that might sound like a lot, but bear in mind that if gold goes up anywhere near the amount that it did in, say, the TBC to Wrath transition, or indeed the normal to TBC transition, then that's not going to be all that much, honestly. Yeah, well, whatever the case. It costs money. Now, what else? Well, you also have to have a certain level of reputation with the guild. Now, this isn't implemented on a lot of things right now, and it seems to be pretty broken. For instance, there are 3 guild standards that you can put up. You can actually put up a big banner for your guild, which is blatantly stolen, I might add, although not in quite as cool a manner from Warhammer Online. They actually had guild standards that you could socket with various abilities and spells and stuff. That was pro, if I recall. And they give you an XP or honor boost if you are in the same guild as someone within a 45-yard radius. So basically, you plant your flag in the ground, and you stand on a hill in the middle of a battleground. You have some kind of epic last stand Alamo thing going on, and you get bonus honor. It's so fun. And of course, if you're in a sub-85 battleground, you're gaining experience for it as well. So you're double dipping in terms of how much you're gaining there. Thing is, there's 3 versions of it. A 2%, a 4%, and a 6%, going from green to purple. And they're all accessible and friendly right now, and they all cost the same amount of gold. So I am thinking they're probably going to change that. the last thing, which I actually noticed an awful lot of, and I was quite surprised by this, is that a lot of the rewards are tied to guild achievements. Now, guild achievements are self-explanatory. They are achievements that you must do with your guild. Shock horror, ladies and gents. Yes, I know. You're staggered. Absolutely staggered by that. I mean, really. It's something that I'm trying to think as to whether or not I actually approve of this, because you all know that I'm not really big into achievements. I think that achievements, in general, are a big stonking waste of time. Yeah, stonking. Very much a stonking waste of time. They're not great, honestly. I'm really not big into them, but it's got me thinking. Well, these guild achievements, some of them are really stupid. Like, for instance, there's one called Critter Kill Squad. 50,000 critters. You gotta kill 50,000 critters across the entirety of your guild, and you unlock an armadillo pet. So, it's kind of funny, I guess. I mean, I can't really condemn them for putting in a really funny achievement, something that's just silly, you know? And it's not really social, it doesn't require any effort whatsoever, but it's hilarious. I was like, go slaughter every critter in the world, and you get a critter back. It's like, okay, this doesn't seem like a pretty fair exchange. 50,000 critters for one. Oh well, never mind. Little armadillo pet, though. That might be fun. The armadillos are the only thing that will survive the critter cost. Ugh. Now, that's a stupid achievement, but there are other ones. Like, say, to get the Dark Phoenix mount, you have to complete the guild version of Glory of the Cataclysm Raider, which right now, Glory of the Cataclysm Raider only includes, as far as I can tell anyway, I might have to have a look at this, they might not have put the metas in yet, but I think it only includes beating the 3 dungeons that are going to be there on launch, so Blackwing Descent, Skywall, and Bastion of Twilight. This may or may not be the case. I would imagine, if it's anything like Glory of the Blair Raider, then it's going to be a bunch of metas. But I didn't see that when I looked at it. I'll have to have another look at it later on. I would imagine it will be, honestly. So that gets you the Dark Phoenix mount, and you get that via being in a guild. So that's unusual, because back in Wrath, it didn't matter if you're in a guild or not. You can complete the achievement with pugs, and you'll still get the mount. Now, some people might complain and say, oh, well, I don't want to be in a guild, I want a pug. And I say, well, it's nice that you've admitted on the show that you are, in fact, a masochist. And if you're into that kind of thing, I'm not going to judge. Not going to judge. Everyone has their little kinks, ladies and gents, and in this case, apparently, it's pugging. Oh, that is... rather be horsewhipped, what can I say? Now, honestly, that is just ridiculous, but that's not to say that they won't have a Glory of the Cataclysm Raider that's a non-guild version that will have a different, a different kind of mount associated with it. And that seems reasonable, right? I mean, surely that's more content. Everyone wants more content, right? Yeah? Surely. Variety and distinction is so important. It's the same reason I had a problem. Well, that would not be one of them. It would be one of them, but it wouldn't be the whole reason. I had so many problems with the Celestial Steed, i.e. TRH. It's so bad. But one of the problems I had with it was the fact that it took away some of the distinguishing nature of the Invincible mount. Because, like, well, I've got this really unique looking mount, and now someone could buy the knockoff version of it. Yeah? It's like the 4-stripe version of Adidas or whatever. It's like a fake Rolex. It takes away somewhat from the unique aspect and the prestige of owning a Rolex. In this case, if you have the same mount no matter what, it's not like... It's hard to explain. The best way to explain it is the way that people feel when they got the Rusted Proto-Drake and the Ironbound Proto-Drake. When they got those. Were those disabled? I don't think they were they? I think you can still get them. And they left them running for ages. And loads of people got them. And then by the end of it, your Rusted and your Ironbound Proto-Drake, they just weren't special anymore. Because people had devalued them. The longer they were around, the less valuable they became because more people got them, and it's like, hey, less variety. It's why I always also actually kind of feel sorry for people that bought the TRH to begin with, because they just paid money for a mount that makes them look exactly the same as everyone else. And notice how few of them there are now. I went on the live server to do some filming. Nobody's riding that thing anymore on my server. Why? Because they know that everyone else did. They're sick of seeing it everywhere. They don't want to ride something that's so... And to be honest, I probably got a bit of hate for it as well. And, you know, getting hate for a purchase decision is kind of crappy. But at the end of the day, you accept that when you buy something that ridiculous, that the community of WoW is going to be hostile to you in some regard. Because you are actually supporting bad business practices that affect everybody. It's not just a, I remember the lines, actually, on my video when I did the TRH video. He's just jealous because he can't afford it. The irony, of course, being of that the amount of traffic that's sent to my site, I could have bought an entire sack of TRH from the ad revenue. But hey, there you go. People are gonna be dumb. It's not about jealousy. It's about recognizing the fact that it was a bad business decision, and that it can lead to really bad stuff in the future. Microtransactions for stuff that should be free as part of your subscription. We're talking about taking development time away from subscriber content. That's bad. That's bad for everybody. Anyway, kind of get straying off topic a little bit here. I'm alright with this guild achievement thing. I don't think, by the looks of it, as I say, I haven't seen the metas yet, so it's really kind of difficult. You know what, I'm going to actually log in, and I'll have a look at it. It'll take a little bit of time for me to do it, but I'll tell you as to whether or not. The problem I've got with achievements in general is that when it comes to raiding guilds, you often get some people that really want the achievements and some people that don't. And you have a schism split down the middle in the raiding guild, and it causes a lot of drama. It caused us drama in Nax, in Ulduar, in TOC, in ICC. Let's go for the achievement, guys. No, we don't want to. Now, what I said back when the Nax achievements came out is stuff like the Spores one. The Spores ones are so dumb. It's a really, really terrible one. That was on Lowertheb, if you remember correctly. It's one where you do something that you just wouldn't do otherwise, and actually makes the fight less fun. Well, another example would be the achievement in ICC for Lady Death Whisper, where you keep 5 mobs alive as well. Why would you do that? It's silly. It doesn't make any sense in terms of the fight. Because actually, what you're doing there, to actually access that achievement, you've got to do the fight wrong. That's why it's such a dumb achievement. As far as I'm concerned, achievements should be for doing a fight in a particularly exceptional manner. Like, nobody gets hit by this. You know, stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see achievements for. We're talking like perfect runs. Boss kills that are exceptional. Killing a boss in a certain amount of time, for instance. You know, that's an achievement. That is actually quite challenging in some regard. I mean, what else have we got? Well, there's a lot of other examples. Honestly, you could probably hear that cranking through my headphones. Let's not do that. No new music as of yet on the login screen, ladies and gents, I'm afraid. Some of them are okay, but some of them are not. And like I say, there are people who care about achievements and there are people that don't. But I think with the element of guild achievements, people are probably going to care more. And I imagine that's what Blizzard had in mind. At the end of the day, it's a good way to turn around and say, you need to achieve something in order to get access to this particular mount. Or this particular pet. That's already in the game to some small degree. And we saw the whole thing about achievement points that when they first came in, they were supposed to be spent on these vanity pets and things like that. That never actually happened, but some, and I do say only some, do give you access to certain titles and things like that. With guild achievements, almost all of the really big guild achievements actually give access to something in the guild rewards tab. It's nice to have a reason as a guild to work together. I'm just not entirely convinced that the achievements in their current state are going to do that. Like, one of them is place 5,000 feasts. What? Are you serious? I mean, 5,000 feasts? That's silly. That's a huge number of feasts. And I bet it hasn't counted them so far. I can guarantee it. Because we're talking about counting stuff as a guild, which didn't actually happen before that. So, I'm not so keen on that one. And what I'll also say about that kind of achievement is it encourages Zerg guilds, like really big guilds. They said they wanted to make it sort of equal for smaller guilds and large guilds by only counting the top 10 people contributing. But how is that going to work for place 5,000 feasts? It's not going to do it for that, is it? Surely. I don't know. We're going to have to see about that. I mean, we've got like 500 critters killed in our guild so far. I don't know if it tells you who killed them. I'm sure that it doesn't just count the top 10, though. It counts it towards contributing to guild experience, but not towards these guild achievements, as far as I can tell. And the server's broken right now, so I can't log in to tell you whether or not the meta's that case, but it's annoying as hell! But whatever, we'll deal with it. So, conclusion, yeah, guild achievements could be really cool, and the fact that the guild reward system is linked to it is also nice. I mean, I'm totally in favor of guild rewards, absolutely. Anything that encourages guild play is good, in my opinion. I just think the guild achievements do need a bit of work right now, and I'll, of course, be providing my feedback from that over the next couple of weeks. My name is Total Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with Brian Blessed. I wish. I so wish. That would be like the coup of the century. I could just die happy if I got Brian Blessed on the show. And I'll play some Tanaris music. This is by David Arkenstone. If this is the track I think it is, and goddamn, I hope I picked the right one, it is so good. Enjoy.